Hey guys, welcome to Whiskey and Literature. I'm your host, Captain Mike. I'm excited because tonight we're drinking some whiskey. This is the Hemingway Signature Rye. I've been seeing this on this shelf for quite a while and just passing it up. I was drawn by the cool looking bottle, but it just couldn't find a reason to pick it up necessarily. I've heard good things about it. I've seen guys online picking it up, but just have too many bottles to drink. But today I ran across an article in Whiskey Advocate saying this was in their top 20 whiskeys of 2023. It's one of the only two ryes in their list, and the other one I believe was the Ezra Brooks rye, and that was a couple points less on their score than the Hemingway Signature Rye, and that is enough for me to pick it up. I looked at a couple stores, couldn't find the Signature blend anywhere. I went to Total Wine and More to pick up a different bottle, and I ran across this Hemingway Signature, which was in the wrong spot. It was not where it said it was, or it's not what it says. It's not what was on the label at the store. But I just happened to see that it was a Signature blend or Signature edition, so I picked it up. So Hemingway, it's supposed to be Hemingway inspired. That's why the bottle looks kind of cool, like it's a like typewriter keys there on the front. They had the first edition, you get it, first edition, books, Hemingway, Signature, again, author, signed copy, Signature. This is their Signature Rye. So the story with the Hemingway distillery is they are in Kentucky, and they have a big long story. If you want to go to their website and check it out, you can. They focus on rye whiskeys, and from what I could tell, looking at their website, the first edition and the Signature were the exact same blend. But let's go through the specs and stats of this whiskey and then get it. And off the bat, I'm going to tell you, great job Hemingway with your bottle. I think first of all, it is a great looking bottle, and I love that they print essentially all the stats for this whiskey on the bottle. I don't have to refer to any notes or go to the website. We see that it is 2 straight ryes, and it doesn't say on here. Oh, it does. Okay, so we have, they're 95.5 ryes, both of them. We have a 6-year-old rye from Indiana, MGP anyone, and it is 90% proportion of the whiskey. Then we have a 4-year-old Kentucky rye, also 95.5, and that is 10% of the blend. It's bottled at 102 proof. Signature edition, nice looking label, I think. A blend of straight rye whiskeys finished in rum seasoned Oloroso sherry casks. So that sounds pretty cool. Bottled in Hemingway, by Hemingway Whiskey, Lakeland, Florida. Distilled and aged in Kentucky and Indiana. Wow, okay, I didn't know that. I thought this was a Kentucky distillery. I'm gonna have to go back and look at their website. I thought I saw that they were from Kentucky. Maybe they're from Kentucky, but they bottle in Lakeland, Florida. That's like an hour away from me. That's what it says. Bottled by Hemingway Whiskey Company, Lakeland, Florida. I'm gonna have to see if I can drive over there and check it out. Memories to be made, stories to be passed down. That's the Hemingway, the Call family. I think it's a great looking bottle. Oh, cool. Oh, that was nice. First crack, of course. I do know, how unique is this bottle? How many ryes do we have that are finished in sherry? I know Templeton Rye has a Oloroso sherry finished. Sagamore Spirits has an Oloroso sherry finished. I was on my way to Kevin's house last week, stopped by Kenny's Liquors, and picked up a High West Double Rye, also finished in Oloroso sherry casks. And this was in the cask for 9 months. So I've not opened this yet. I just picked it up, I think a week and a half ago. Now this says Oloroso sherry casks that were seasoned in rum. Now my understanding is a lot of the bottles or barrels, they start out with American whiskey, bourbon or whiskeys, then they go over to Europe and they finish other stuff over there, usually Scotch and Irish whiskeys. perhaps some wines, I don't know. And then they go from wines, oftentimes go down to the Caribbean and go and do rum barrels down there. So perhaps it wasn't a bourbon or anything like that, but it was started out as a wine cask, was sent down to the Caribbean. They aged some rum in it, and then they sent it back up to Lakeland, Florida, apparently, to bottle or age this there. Anyway, excited about that. Let's see what we've got here. I did pay $83.99 for this bottle, and you saw it was a fresh crack. Some guys I know don't like the finished whiskeys. I got these glasses recently. These were part of a Christmas gift that was given to me. It's not the typical Glencairn. I don't know if these have a certain name for them. I don't know. They're a little more angular than a typical Glencairn. They feel pretty nice in my hand as opposed to the Glencairn. I mean, I like the Glencairns too. They're nice. I feel like it's a little wider, maybe a little wider base. 6 and 4 year old whiskey, mostly 6, just a bit of a 4, just a touch of that Kentucky rye. I drink a lot of High West. I mean, that's Stellum, Smoke Wagon. These are all MGP products, and it says Indiana, so pretty certain that 95.5 rye is Indiana. I get those grassy notes, that rye spice that I'm so familiar with. And it's a little different though. I get some raisins in there perhaps. Lending a bit of sweetness in there. It's a nice nose. It's very, I think it's very familiar to me with a little twist. The raisin's not a note, but that rye spice, that grassy note is very familiar to me, being an MGP, probably whiskey. All right, let's go. Cheers. What a nice mouthfeel that is to that. Wow. It's kind of orangey. There's an orange twist to it. It's viscous with some orange, but there's a little bit of heat and some rye spice in there as well. Did I mention that it was 102 proof? I don't think I mentioned that. And I think that's such a nice proof level. It brings the heat some, but it's not overwhelming or kicking you in the face. 102 proof. That is pretty awesome. You can certainly drink that neat all day, every day. It'll stand in a cocktail, and put it over ice if you're so inclined. And I think very, very nice. Yeah, really nice. Just some viscous to it. It's that grassy note, that rye spice, just enough heat with some sweet citrus to balance it out. Perhaps just a hint of chocolate in there. Overall, I think that's a pretty nice pour. And I actually looked online earlier today for the Sagamore Spirits sherry finished rye. Couldn't find it anywhere. It's not available at Total Wine. I just looked through for the Templeton rye. Can't find it. And I just happened to run across this High West double rye Oloroso sherry finished. Wasn't something I was looking for necessarily. I just saw it. I knew I didn't have that, so I picked it up. And so now I'm super excited to have a pour of that, have a pour of this, and compare the two. It's just a nice lean green finish there. Just a bit of heat, some sweetness, and some spice. It's just nice and balanced. Just kind of lingering, just a touch of warmth there. Just 102 proof, so really nice. So my question to you is, have you tried the Hemingway? What are your thoughts on it? Have you tried any other whiskeys that I mentioned, the sherry finished ryes? I mean, what are your thoughts? I know some guys don't even like the finished whiskeys. I'm a big fan of them. I can't tell you how many of the High West finish that I have, and I buy a lot, I think, of the finished whiskeys. And but what are your thoughts on them? Feel free to comment below. But for me, I'm digging this bottle. I'm happy to have it. I think Whiskey Advocate is correct. It is a really nice pour. You can see it. That's all I've had of it, and I'm pretty impressed by this bottle. I will say the last comment, I did get that High West, and I only keep comparing this to High West, but I haven't had a pour of that yet. But I did pay $30 less for the High West bottle, which I thought was a great deal. That double rye finished in Oloroso sherry cask. And I bet it is quite a bit younger than the Hemingway, and it has the same MGP, that 95.5 rye in it, though the High West portion is 80-20 rye instead of this other 95.5 Kentucky rye. I think it would be a great head-to-head to have those, and maybe the rum in here would kind of push it above or have a nice little twist, maybe a bit more sweetness than what's present in the double rye finished in the Oloroso sherry cask. But I think if you see this on the shelf and you like finished whiskeys, you ought to pick it up. And I think the first edition that I've seen on their website anyway says it's sold out. So I don't know if you're going to see that on the shelf anymore. Regardless, I think it's a nice pour. All right, my guys, if you enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe to see more of my content. I do both whiskey and book reviews, and links to those are in the description below. You know what to do, my friends. I hope you're reading something good and drinking something great. Turn the pages and stay thirsty, my friends. Cheers.